Good morning, Cafe Noirs.
Cafe Noirs, Cafe Moaners, good morning. I was just having a sort of mini rant over on Instagram. It is a bit of a different coffee moaning this morning. If this is your first time joining us, we do usually have 3 or 4 topics. But I think this is just yet another extraordinary event, the LA fires. And we were just saying over on Instagram, weren't we, that at the moment, and this has been for a couple of years now, we're looking at so much that looks like a movie, really like a movie, that it's almost, we have to be so careful to keep ourselves in it and not to just become completely disengaged and completely desensitized. And now, in the center, movie world center, we're seeing that going up in flames in the most horrific way, horrific. And all these horrible sociopathic leaders that are just bobbing along, creating chaos and hate and horror everywhere, and excuse the pun, throwing fuel on the fire. It's just a really, really, really tough time for human beings, I think, and especially if you're a human with a good heart, as most of you are here, I'm sure. And so we thought we would dedicate it to this today, but also to just gather in a bit and just hunker down a bit and say and remind ourselves that there are many good people, because I'm struggling with that at the moment. You know me, I'm always the one that says there are more good people than bad, and Mark always goes, come on, Nadia, but I'm struggling. I am struggling.
I think you probably know more people than bad because you're a very good judge of character. Yeah, like a movie set, like a narrative in countless different genres of films. Now we have a disaster movie. 3 weeks ago, let's not forget, we had a sci-fi movie with the drones and with that, and then we have a genuine, real-life genocide happening in the Middle East. The rest of the world, or many parts of the world, want to fan away that.
The horrors of the Sudan and the Congo that's completely forgotten about. I mean, we complain about Gaza not being talked about. My God, the horrors in there. Look it up, guys. We will be getting to that. And you just think it's really hard. Like Zoe just said, didn't you, on Instagram? I'm just really struggling at the moment. And I think we are. And climate change is just...
But I tell you the part of all of it, which is the most unedifying aspect of all, which is why I went into a kind of these flabby sacks of male leadership, whether it be Biden or Trump or Netanyahu, or even, with all due respect, Justin Trudeau, a so-called progressive not. I mean, in 10 years, progressive my pants. All of these kind of leaders all just bobbling around. Actually, I would argue, surfing, trying to catch a surf.
They're all trying to catch a wave.
Of absolute tragedy.
Catch more land, catch more money,
and I thought they're all in the slipstream of this. And where is it all going to lead? I mean, this week we've had Donald Trump saying he's going to invade Greenland. He might take Mexico.
Mark
he's going to bring Canada to its knees. We've got some quotes.
Mark was telling me that today he referred to the governor of California. Oh, have you got the clip?
Well, no, I've got his. I am a member of Truth Social for my sins. This bile plops onto my home screen, but he posted this. One of the best and most beautiful parts of the United States of America is burning down to the ground, its ashes, and Gavin Newsom should resign. This is all his fault. Now, that's not to say that there won't be decisions that have been made by Gavin Newsom and the mayor that have potentially, that's
how a statesman speaks. Well, potentially there have been mistakes made, and we will have a thorough investigation. You don't go out calling someone scum.
No, it's the language. It's the
language is disgusting.
But chiming back to what is it that we try and understand is the appeal of Trump. It's the fact that he's willing to step the extra yard and go to these places. Unfortunately, just in the spirit of fairness and balance.
Hang on, Mark. Can I just pause you there?
Yeah.
Right? It's not that he's willing. He does this on purpose. He cares about no one or nothing. It's not because he's the man that just has to tell the truth, which is what his poor followers believe. He's the man that knows exactly how to create more chaos, and he stands back in his sociopathic way and revels in it. And he doesn't give a shit about the ordinary man. He doesn't give a shit about anyone except people closest to him making more money. And this is an advantage for him because Gavin Newsom, you said, could become
he's
a future president.
He's a future potential president. So I assure you that what's going to happen here is a rubbishing of Gavin Newsom's tenure, legacy in California. Obviously, there's opponents to Gavin Newsom too. But, he runs, California has one of the largest economy. It has an economy the size bigger than many, many countries in the world. California is an absolute engine room for American wealth. So Trump would be careful to not completely slam the Los Angeles Californian population. Now, the point here is this. If this story, and it will become a political sort of football, if there's the potential to sort of demonstrate that this has all, obviously it didn't happen because of Gavin Newsom, but that they were unable to get a grip on this catastrophe because of cuts, because of choices, because of lack of priorities, etc., by Gavin Newsom and his mayor. I've got an astonishing clip of the mayor in a minute. If this not be proven, because how much can ever be proven? But if that's the narrative Trump can get on, this is a gift from God, quite literally, to Donald Trump for the next election. And believe me, these people are thinking in these terms because Gavin Newsom is probably the highest contender to become the next Democratic potential president in the future. But I just want it in the spirit of balance. Donald Trump's waded in calling him Gavin Newscum. Here is some footage of Biden in LA alongside, I believe, Gavin Newsom. But check out how Biden fails to read the room. This is a catastrophe like no other that Los Angeles has encountered. And Biden saw it as an opportunity to make this announcement.
There's only one piece of good news. My son lives out here and his wife. They got a notification yesterday their home was probably burned to the ground. Today, it appears that it may be still standing, we're not sure. But the good news is, I'm a great-grandfather as of today. I was a granddaughter, 10-pound, 4-ounce baby girl, a baby boy. So I can remember this day for a lot of wrong reasons. But anyway.
A lot of people saying he should have read the room. Not the moment to talk about the fact that he's become a great-grandfather whilst sort of talking to the press and to the dignitaries and authorities in LA. But meanwhile, the mayor of Los Angeles was caught in a interview. Well, this is a very curious moment. Sky News. So
the mayor is like, because I don't know anything about. Do you know how
I
it's all
can't give
run?
you the absolute details.
So
but suffice it to say, the New York mayor is incredibly powerful. They have this woman is seen as being responsible for taking $17 million away from the funding of the LA fire services. She's increased funding to the police forces at a cost to the fire brigades. And yeah, she's being held already accountable by many.
An apology for being absent while their homes were burning. Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position? Madam Mayor, have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today who are dealing with this disaster? No apology for them? Do you think you should have been visiting Ghana while this was unfolding back home?
That's one way of dealing with questions you don't want to answer.
No, but she didn't look. Do you not think she just looked totally traumatized and in shock? I did.
Well, I mean, I'm sure she is, but I mean, if she's in
that
shock,
didn't look to me like a politician avoiding an answer because they answer back and they give and they get out the way. She just looked like a person that was, not well.
Well, there are many ways to read it.
That's the way. I mean, that's what I got. What did you think?
There's total shock. She's obviously come back from a break. Maybe she's come back as soon as she possibly can. She's clearly, it's reported everywhere that she's nibbled away at budgets for various things. The problem with this time of year for this catastrophe, by all accounts, the fire services were saying this is the time of year when all the LA fire departments
Go on holiday.
are doing all of their dress rehearsals. They're practicing for events like this happening in the hotter weather. This isn't even like peak weather. You know, we're not in the peak sort of season for disasters.
Oh, but don't forget, there's no such thing as climate change, because that and that's the incoming president's.
I think more telling, and you
mantra.
picked on this earlier. Are we now in the new era of quoting Musk?
Well, that's
when
what I
interviewing
really
people?
didn't like, because that's a Sky reporter. Why is he saying anything about Musk? It's like in the TV business. They create their own monsters. They really do. They pander and they soothe the nastiest people, and then they become nastier and nastier and nastier. We've seen it, haven't we? That's how you create a diva.
Yeah.
If the press are going to playing a part in the diva-ship of Elon Musk, it's doesn't matter what Elon Musk has said. Who is Elon Musk?
Yeah, but that old trope of using someone else's quote in order to ask the question is so that you can't.
But it was pathetic. Who was the journalist? It was
biased.
pathetic.
I think in the spirit of fairness,
I think you say the people whose homes are burning down.
Yes.
I'm sure would be wanting a resignation, if not something said. Yeah. But to me, she didn't look like a politician avoiding. She looked like somebody that's about to have a complete and utter breakdown.
She looks absolutely devastated. Now, I think the other explanation is quite simply she is in an absolute state of shock. She's trying to process what's happening. She's not hearing what's being asked.
Is she going to be the scapegoat? Because I doubt very much that one woman there is the woman that has made these cuts. Now, when people say she's been nibbling away, but who? Who was putting the pressure on her to nibble it away? She's going to be the scapegoat. Telling you now. Watch, folks. That one woman.
So check this out. This is a map of some of the fires. One of the most disconcerting parts of these fires, there are at the moment confirmed 5 dead. Tens of thousands of buildings are burned. One of the most, I mean, we've been to, Nads and I, you've been to LA 2 or 3 times now, 3 or 4 times. I've filmed out there too. It's quite significant in a weird way to see that fire down on Sunset approaching Hollywood Boulevard. You expect it in a way, or you're not surprised by it in the Hollywood Hills, which they've also erupted in the Hollywood Hills, Eaton, is that Lydia? Palisades down the bottom there. Malibu, incredibly dry. I once filmed in the Malibu woods, tree hugging, and the trees it was scorched earth out there. It was so hot. But, you know, it's reaching down into Santa Monica, you know, Beverly Hills. Now, Faith, you made a really good point earlier. We've put in the title, A-listers lose homes in Hollywood, more winds forecast, scenes from a disaster film. What you've got to understand is, outside the A-listers of Hollywood, which is what all the press is obviously focusing on at the moment. Yeah. You know, tragic. I mean, this is the great equalizer. And when we came off air yesterday, I was reminding Nadia of the quote that J.G. Ballard used in his book Empire of the Sun.
Mark told me this quote years and years ago, and the amount of times, and it's accelerating how many times I use that quote in my head now.
And he was talking about, you know, Empire of the Sun is really a kind of autobiographical story-ish of him as a boy when I think Japan invaded China. There might have been Shanghai, I think. And he watched he was an expat. He was the son of an expat. He watched what were familiar environments like casinos and grand halls and buildings and what have you, reduced to rubble. And he talks about running amongst the rubble as a young expat boy. And he says, nothing reminds you of the set dressing of the world and the set dressing of life more than war or conflict. And
well, when you think about that of Palace, you know, in Gaza,
absolutely.
I mean, just thousands upon thousands of people's lives, literally like set dressing, all just collapsed down into nothing and nowhere to go and nothing to do. It's totally extraordinary. And there, but for the grace of God, go any of us. We never know what's going to happen.
And you're right. You know, people like Ben Affleck, Anthony Hopkins' house has gone. Burnt to the ground. Billy Crystal, Ben Affleck was seen rushing to Jennifer Garner's house, his ex, to get her out of the house. Lots and lots of celebrities. Now, this isn't to diminish the severity of this, because these are, like Billy Crystal spoke really movingly about how it's the home in which he's brought up his children, he's brought up his grandchildren. He said it's not even about material.
I've got no time for people that have no sympathy for people with money. It's like your home is your home, isn't it? And whether that be a makeshift tent because you've got no other choices, or whether it be a beautiful beachfront home, the devastation of losing that
Absolutely, but
can't be undervalued.
But it does need to be stressed. So, for example, Paris Hilton lost her Malibu seaside. A lot of these celebrities do have multiple homes. It's, you know, they'll have places. It doesn't make any difference to that
There's
sensitivity.
such a violence to seeing that, to seeing a fire, isn't there? Or like, you know, when you think of when you see tsunamis, the violence is I think what hits me the hardest when you see it's like no choices, all choices been taken.
I'm just going to pop up some images whilst we're talking. But what I wanted to stress was that whilst there's the elite, the A-listers, the Hollywood stars, the vast majority of people in LA, it is a city riven with poverty.
Or people living on the street, like
proper,
so much homelessness.
When we were there once, we mistakenly drove down, I forget the name of it.
We got lost, didn't we? And we went down a road we'd never seen before.
And we're talking about oil drums with fires and...
Like the movies, like you see in the movies.
It was a proper scene, like, you know, Escape from LA. But here
and you know what? When I'm movies, I've seen like homeless areas and you think, oh God, that doesn't look very real. But actually that is the reality. And, you know, friends of ours that have been to LA since...
Skid Row, thank you.
Thank you. Since the pandemic, said multiply it by 10.
Yes.
It's just a horror story of its own, isn't it?
Strip.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the weird thing is Hollywood Boulevard has that thing about it, always has had that thing where there is extraordinary poverty, even in the street performances and the people dressed as characters. We're just going to roll through some images here that I've taken from various publications here. I'm just going to move this banner. Let me just get rid of this. Just get rid of this because it's in the way. There we go. And get your comments back. So yeah, here we got helicopters dropping water, which one always sees this happening, and you sort of think, is it effective? But astonishing, you know, they're actually pulling water from swimming pools because there's such a lack of water.
Yeah, but
they have to extract water from. This is
and the sea, presumably.
When you know Malibu and you see shots like this, total Armageddon on the front. These are the embers, and of course it's the embers that are being blown by the winds coming in from the desert inland, from California, desert land of California, Nevada, Arizona. But look at these embers. These are the things that are igniting houses. In a minute, you're going to see the start of a fire in Sunset Boulevard. It's quite something. You know, fire hoses taking helicopters above you. Do you remember these trees? This is the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah.
Very much.
We stayed in the Hollywood Hills, didn't we?
This is a shot of the beach. Again, look at these. All that's standing in many places are the fire towers, you know, the kind of what they called the chimneys, the chimney flues. Again, here, look, you can see glass paneling just shattered. This is a guy on a bike.
I was watching.
That is a scene from
a movie again.
Mad Max,
Unreal.
Furiosa.
Yeah. I was watching, I think, CNN yesterday.
Elderly person being carried from the. These are
see your own mum and dad.
These are the people that you're feeling for. You know, everyday people who potentially, as someone just said, may not have even insurance on their homes. This is what we're worried about. Look at this.
I was watching CNN yesterday, and as this guy was reporting, a house just fell behind him.
Yeah.
Live. They're just folding in, aren't they?
Devastation. So I'm just going to show you some other footage.
Yeah, let's get out of here.
This is a guy escaping his hand.
Bro. I'm sorry.
That's his fire alarm.
I'm sorry, we tried.
We tried our best. You know, when this tree falls, it's over.
Then evacuate the property.
I'm sorry, bro.
To the tree.
Trying to get out of here. Oh shit! Holy shit! Is that tree?
It's
Wow. Why not? It must be for all that falling debris.
this is going to roll for a while. And then give you a sense of it.
Can you even imagine just the heat of just sleep?
Look at these. They're using, I forget what these are called. We saw them.
It looks like it wouldn't do anything.
I mean, look at that. They dropped that horse of water running in.
This is
this?
over the Sunset Fire yet again, and it looks like some embers may have hit a roof there for one residence. Could be an apartment.
There, from the top left, they home in on the embers.
Oh, so the
Yeah,
plane now
Mike and
goes
Sarah,
over.
we're trying to get an angle on this. It looks like a fire on a balcony, possibly. Some of the embers got into a balcony, it looks like, or maybe it's a roof line. It's hard to tell.
So it's just
Actually, it
fire
looks like,
that.
yeah, balcony there that's caught on fire. This is off of Franklin and Vista, and that fire just kicking off just moments ago. We came around in the morning and spotted it. And so that's the first structure that has caught fire here that we know of.
Picture on your right is a new fire. This is the Hollywood Hills. This is the location that we were given, 2350 North Solar Drive. That's between Nichols Canyon and Runyon Canyon.
Stayed in the
Hollywood Hills. There are a number of homes surrounding that. Chris
Get out, because it's one road.
give us some information about
One windy loop road.
Mark, very concerning sight here in the Hollywood Hills. We're just west of Nichols Canyon, just north of Hollywood Boulevard, where a major fire has just sparked in the last 5 minutes. We were over the Pacific Palisades. We saw the glow coming from over the hill, and just in the last couple of minutes that it took us to get over here to Hollywood, this thing has exploded in size. You can see northerly winds coming through the canyon here, just west of Nichols, just east of Runyon Canyon, and you can see this is all very thick fuel that is fueling this brush fire. LA City Fire is aware of this fire. They have immediately called for the 20 closest trucks to respond out here. However, accessing this fire is going to require more than trucks. They're going to have to get a quick reaction force over here as soon as possible, or more likely LA City fire choppers over here as soon as possible.
How much water can those choppers carry, though?
This is Hollywood. I mean, this is staggering. This is staggering to see this in the distance. And I mean, the other weird thing about, say, the Hollywood Hills, the thing that's dangerous about the Hollywood Hills, and you'd attest to this, Nance, is that whilst you've got the grid system across, once again, they're pouring water. This is the post-devastation.
This is the hills.
Yeah, this is just.
Oh, God, I wonder if that house just stayed in this section. God, look at that.
So, but the interesting thing is like, so in the Hollywood Hills, I can't even, just geographically, anyone who knows the area at all, they're wibbly wobbly roads. You don't often get those in America. It's always the grid system.
Where you have to stop, let
you
the
have
other
to stop,
cars
let other
through.
cars down. So getting fire engines up there.
And then all the way along, it's forest.
And it's the flying embers. And what you saw with that little balcony was a flying ember come across that far, leapfrogging all those buildings. Lou Murph is commenting on Greg Stoker's post that you sent me. Greg Stoker, who's a sort of activist, critic of,
ex-army, ex-military.
Ex-US military, incredibly outspoken, done a lot of good work regarding Israel, Gaza.
Very bright, isn't he? He does deep dives into everything.
Very critical of the capitalist structure of America. Greg Stoker is saying the government are going to use this to say the fire department is unfit for purpose, that they want to privatize the fire department. With so many rich people being affected by this, they will back it.
And there's a lot coming out already, isn't there, from people saying, anyone know a private
Chinook, thank you.
Will pay anything? Is there anyone out there that can, are there any private
so what you're going to end up having out there, so people are already, what Greg Stoker's suggesting, and you can understand this, it's like private healthcare.
Yeah, people
where
will
there's
start
a demand and where you can't deliver the service.
And then the service will weaken even more and more. And then people, rather like medical insurance in America, those that can't afford it will get less care.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you know what? The poor people live next to the rich people, so you kind of got to look after everybody.
Well, that is the problem, but it's just heartbreaking, isn't it? Just the what will be happening.
I'm just distraught with the world. Like we were just saying over on Instagram, everything is like a fucking movie. We're looking at, we can't believe it. And then we've got Musk, who keeps being heralded as some sort of, God, I don't know what, spokesperson for the world. And we've got incoming Trump and all his numpties creating more and more hate and horror and unrest. And the world just feels destabilized enough. And now we've got this coming in, and it's just, how long is he till he's in the chair?
12 days.
12 days, and he's already creating chaos.
11 days. Well, yeah. Well, they're saying 11 days till election, 12 missions accomplished ahead of time or something. It's like...
and they're taking good journalists to court already. I mean, it's just petrifying. It's a very, very scary place, America.
What's also really interesting as well is, have you noticed how, although we've got 12 days until Trump's in power, Where's the apparent or alleged deep concern for the country gone with the likes of what's her face?
Yeah.
Kamala.
And
Why
Biden.
are people still sort of saying, look, guys, this, even if, okay, they can't
Anything
change
really
anything,
heard
just
from
to say something like, this is what you voted for. Trying to just
Nothing.
characterize it as something.
They're just so wishy-washy.
Well, they've moved on because their lives are unaffected. You know, they've moved on. Do you want to see Venezuelan president losing his shit?
Now, this again, okay, we know nothing about this part of the world, do we? We know not. I mean, he's not a good guy, put it that way. But again, I thought I was watching a clip from a film or like a Scorsese, like new series for Netflix or something. No, this was real.
And this is a kind of what this is about is he's angry. What you're going to hear is a man very angry with Panama because he's angry that they might not engage with Trump or push back against Trump. This is what I call
to protect the Panama Canal.
And this is what I call the chain reaction of chaos. This is Trump generating uncertainty,
exactly what he wants.
Chaos everywhere.
The bully.
Everyone's kind of like literally a cat on a hot tin roof.
Turning everyone against everybody, ruling by dividing people. That's what he does, rule by division, not by bringing together.
So here you go. This is what the Venezuelan president, prime minister, I don't know what we call him.
Declaran por allá en Panamá y amenazan a Venezuela. Yo quisiera que el presidente de Panamá tuviera los cojones para defender el canal de Panamá que quiere demostrar para agredir a Venezuela. Eres un cobarde, presidente de Panamá, y te va a tocar lo tuyo a ti también. El que se mete con Venezuela, se seca. Te secarás, te secarás. Viejo asqueroso. Ojalá salieras a defender el canal de Panamá y la dignidad que dejó para Panamá Omar Torrijos. Ojalá. Elevo una oración por Omar Torrijos, para que el pueblo de Omar Torrijos, fundado por Bolívar, quien libertó Panamá, le llegue su hora de reivindicación, más temprano que tarde. Así será.
Oh my God. He actually said cojones.
I know, he said cojones. What do you think of that, guys?
Well, like Silver Task, Tanya Bartlett says, so he has stirred a pot to a possible war in South Central America.
Yes.
I mean,
he's not even in the chair yet.
The analogy of, embers being blown, you take that ember that you saw being blown from the fire over to the balcony, the same as he's blowing them all over the place.
And then Trump, a couple of days ago, if all the hostages aren't returned day one, like he's going to come in and just say it, Big Daddy's home, then the Middle East is going to see like nothing, hell like they've never seen before. It's like, oh, what more hell?
But then he posts a film the next day saying Netanyahu's a bastard of a bitch of a bastard.
Did he?
Yeah, no one can understand what was going on there.
Was it an old film?
No, he reposted a clip. I've yet to find it. It's on Truth Social, but he's posted so much, Donald. He's obviously addicted. But he posted something. People are approaching the Israeli government for a comment because it says he's a bastard. Netanyahu's a stupid bitch of a bastard or something in this film that he's playing. What the fuck does that mean?
Well, it's hard keeping up.
This is, I think this is Ontario's governor. This is a potential. Ontario. This is a potential response. This is Canada's potential response
to
enormous tariffs.
To Trump saying that he's going to put enormous tariffs on.
Look, so check this out. So
on the fuel. Watch this.
Panama and Venezuela are going to get their cojones out and start smashing the shit out of each other. Meanwhile,
full extent, depending how far this goes, we will go to the extent of cutting off their energy, going down to Michigan, going down to New York State and over to Wisconsin. I don't want this to happen, but my number one job is to protect Ontario, Ontarians and Canadians as a whole. This is coming. It's not if it is, it's coming. And it's coming January 20th or 21st. And we need to be prepared. We need to stand as a country. We need to stand united as Canadians and work hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder with our colleagues across the country. And we're ready to do it.
So
well done, Trump.
So Canada now, as a defensive move, we've heard a lot about self-defense, haven't we, in recent years, as a defensive move, but kind of you understand why. They've said we will stop supplying, energy to many of those major northern cities in America.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love it when I see someone stand up to a bully. I love it. But I said to you last night, and I went, Trump's going to go ape shit, isn't he? He's going to go bananas.
I mean, we can't have a
We are
situation
in the
where he
hands of
invades Canada
lunatics.
and Mexico.
The lunatics have got the keys.
I mean, and then Greenland, 57,000 people in Greenland all looking at each other going, who the fuck's coming here? What's going on? And then in Denmark, I mean, we don't know the veracity of this clip. I think I've got a clip here which you sent. This is funny.
This isn't real. They've obviously stuck an old piece of film to
of Danish
a new
politicians.
piece of film. So yeah.
An absurd idea that is. She's not talking to me. She's talking to the United States of America. You don't talk to the United States that way. I think it's a good idea because Denmark is losing $700 million a year with it.
You wouldn't, I mean, you know, Viking heritage and all that malarkey.
It is quite funny, isn't it? But you see, you don't talk to America like that. And it's like...
You're not talking to me, but also when Trump,
Ontario, the guy from Ontario, he seems like a really decent chap. It has to be said. I don't want to do this. I want us to just all... Why can't we just be nice? You know what? There is enough in the world if there wasn't greedy people.
Well, exactly. Starmer's the biggest lunatic here in the UK.
Yeah, he's a lunatic.
Yeah, we're doomed.
Guys.
We're doomed, guys.
Guys.
So, there you go.
Let's each now have a silly moan. What's your silly moan of the day? Just a silly moan, not world stuff, silly little moan. The tiniest moan.
As we all enter hell, go to hell in a handcart, I still don't know where my socks go.
Yes. I've never had a proper sock place. My socks go in a hamper.
My pairs of socks never stay pairs. And I know it's not all Toffee's fault.
My little moan of the day is that I have this terrible dichotomy. The sun comes out and I feel blessed and I feel so happy. But when the sun comes out, I see my dirty windows and they're so dirty you can't see out of them.
Right.
So what about you?
Karen Reynolds says her puppy has just eaten his vaccination card.
Oh.
Grace Ann Martin, it's freezing in Glasgow. That's not a silly moan.
God, I bet.
That's a real moan.
Plummeting, isn't it?
Jackie Pugh put too much chili in my curry for tea.
Oh, I thought I read that as I put too much chili in my tea.
Yeah. My moan is says Stuart G. My moan is the price of Lurpak butter.
Thank you, Stuart G. And it's half the bloody size. It's shrinkflation. It's disgusting. I bought some other butter the other day. It was like horrible.
Yeah. Faith Goodman, in the UK, people are having their homes flooded right now. You're absolutely right.
Well, that's not a silly moan. That's a serious moan.
Having to put the bins out and it's cold, says Dion.
Horrible, but thankfully Mark puts bins out.
A creatorholic, I had to break ice on the duck pond before breakfast.
Oh, have you got a duck pond?
Wow, that's so cool. Have you got a duck?
Have you got a pension?
No, if you've got a duck pond, what are they called? Duck coat? No, what are the little boxes that they live in? They've got a name. What they call duck something or other. My moan, Zoe, is I was told beginning of this week I have to move out of my flat, so I currently have to move and find a new place. Pray for me.
Oh,
Hate 2025 already.
Oh, Zoe.
Sweetie, sending you all of our love.
Oh, God.
Does anyone else feel that if in the first week of a year it all goes terribly wrong? I think something similar happened last year. Suddenly it's like you feel the year just slipping rapidly and you just you give up on it. You just go, fuck.
That's why you have to surround yourself.
Good to hear you're back and you're feeling better, and lots of people reached out to you over the weekend. My moan, I have to vacuum.
Well, you don't have
says
to.
Nora Doyle.
You could always just not. Why did you say I'm not going to?
Yeah. So there we go. There we go. All right.
Oh, lovely coffee bonus.
Thank you so much, guys.
I'd like to say there is hope. But I don't feel like there is.
But no, I don't think I'm going to say something fucking facile, but I'm not going to. We're doomed. We're doomed. We're all doomed. We'll all hook back up very soon to sharing the doomness.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Lots of love. Have a lovely Thursday. And